jack of all trades. When I look back over my life, it's clear that my work experiences have been as varied and colorful as the life I've lived. As I shared earlier, my first real job was working as a caddy at the Country Club of Detroit. After that, while still in high school, I was hired as a clerk at Merritt Drug Store on Kelly Road. During my college years at Wayne State University, I took a job with Beneficial Finance, calling on customers who were delinquent in their payments. It wasn't exactly a dream job, collections work rarely is, but it kept me afloat through school. After earning my degree, I joined Chesbro Ponds selling surgical supplies to hospitals. I loved that work. I learned so much about the medical profession and had the privilege of getting to know incredible people in rooms and operating rooms. I would often scrub in for surgeries, standing shoulder to shoulder with nurses and doctors. I'll never forget my first experience in the operating room. I was there to demonstrate an underwater chest tube for thoracic surgery, a device that helps the lungs return to normal after the chest has been opened. As I stood watching the surgeons prepare, I noticed the patient was a large man with thick layers of fat around his midsection. When the surgeon made the first cut, blood began oozing out, and I completely lost it. I had to leave the room or pass out. I had to leave. It was embarrassing, but thankfully, everyone in the OR was gracious. In time, I learned how to handle myself, even though surgeries were never exactly my favorite part of the job. Worse, though, was visiting Children's Hospital in Detroit to witness doctors using our gauze to bride burn wounds. For reasons I never understood, the children were often awake during the procedure. The screams of those little ones haunt me to this day. When we moved north to Vanderbilt, my career shifted again. In the summers, I worked as a mason's tender, hauling cement blocks to job sites. In the winters, I became a lumberjack. My job was to cut logs into 100-inch pieces once they were dragged in by the skidder. It was the most dangerous work I ever did. On my second day, I witnessed a man, a veteran woodsman, lose his nose and left eye when his jaw kicked back and struck him in the face. I learned quickly that the woods demanded both respect and caution. Eventually, I transitioned to selling real estate, where I did well enough that someone encouraged me to start my own business. As the business grew, I branched into the travel industry. Thanks to my sons, who had written a custom data program on the computer I had given them for Christmas, the travel side of the business flourished. An opportunity came when my vice president suggested we partner with American Airlines as they were expanding into the European market. We flew to Texas, made a presentation, and won the contract. For a time, business exploded. We were handling group travel all over North America. But success was short-lived. I lost everything a few years later due to my alcohol addiction. After that collapse, I moved to Florida and started a cleaning business. By then, something had begun stirring in me, a sense of calling. I entered seminary and was ordained to the priesthood in 1996. I started a small church in Stuart, Florida, though it never grew the way I hoped. When Trish's father passed away, we decided to move to Maryland and renovate the home she inherited in Severna. With part of the inheritance, we started the Emmaus Center, a ministry for people experiencing homelessness and poverty. For 12 years, we had the incredible privilege of serving those living on the streets or struggling to survive. That season of my life changed me again. I was no longer living for me, but learning every day what it meant to live for and none of it would have been possible without Trish Gaffney. Today, we continue volunteering at Arundel House of Hope. We work with people seeking addiction recovery, Bible study on Saturdays, and offer an anger management workshop. On Sundays, we hold a small service for those seeking God and serve a meal afterward. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we feed our friends again, and we're blessed to have Yvette and John join us in the work. Looking back on everything, every rise and every fall, I can honestly say I wouldn't be happier doing anything else.